Welcome to our Guilty Dogs Productions dojo.
We're here. We're
doing it. We made the first Steven Seagal background video just to gauge interest, and seems like you guys want to see us suffer.
People were interested.
We've done this before with Nicolas Cage and with all the Alien movies, where we're going to do a Steven Seagal movie marathon.
Immersing ourselves.
We're gonna do this marathon for all of today. Right. We're gonna waste an entire day.
It's 11:27 right now. We started at like 10:30.
But we were setting
the green screen up and doing our hair.
Here's the thing though, Steven Seagal has put out like
50.
Almost 60 movies. Yeah. So we tried to get the best movies that we could find in this list, but we only have a certain amount of time to be able to do this. So we're doing like a fourth or a fifth of all his movies.
Right. I'm excited.
I am excited.
We have two rating systems. We are doing the classic 5-star cinema rating, how it stands as a movie. And then we're doing guilty pleasure.
If there was enough funny shit in it to make it worth watching.
Self-indulgence level, if you will.
Exactly.
1 to 5 as well.
We're gonna watch Steven Seagal all of today, as many movies as we can.
Until we drop.
We're starting with his first movie called Above the Law. This is what really started his career, so we thought it'd be a good place to start.
I'm very excited. I really can't wait. You know, to see where it all started. To see how the run developed. There's gonna be a lot of these today.
A lot of this.
Almost like he's burrowing through dirt.
Let's get started.
Up into
Let's
it,
do
dude.
it.
Glasses on, vest buckled.
We just finished Above the Law. It's 1:26 p.m. It was Steven Seagal's first movie.
1988. It is exceedingly 80s.
The
I
hair,
love it.
the music. I like the music a lot.
It's so good. You know?
Quick synopsis. It's about Steven Seagal's name is
Nico Toscani.
Toscana.
He's a Chicago detective who used to be part of the CIA, who also used to be in Vietnam.
In the beginning, it seems kind of autobiographical. It shows him doing some Aikido.
It shows baby pictures of actual Steven Seagal.
He's in Japan, gets recruited for the CIA Special Operations. He's working in Vietnam.
Some dude in the CIA is a torture guy.
Yeah, he injects people with stuff, and he's like, I just enjoy this.
I just love this shit. Awesome. But Steven Seagal, he doesn't like torture.
Especially when they're doing drug trafficking.
Yeah, it's opium.
Steven Seagal fights back the CIA people, and then he becomes a cop. The rest of the movie is just him trying to uncover a plot to assassinate a senator, and the people that are trying to assassinate the senator are the special forces guys that he used to work with.
So essentially, this is the classic 80s, not personalized protagonist that just kind of gets pulled along by the plot. There's no like, you know, family member that gets killed by these guys. He just kind of doesn't really like what they're doing.
Yeah, no one's above the law.
No one's above my law. I'm the law.
Steven Seagal, I think because he's young and not to body shame, but thin.
He's all ripped and shit.
His fighting is actually somewhat entertaining
there.
Oh yeah,
like
he's throwing stuff.
He's doing it quickly.
There's some police brutality that's kind of comical.
Put your hands on your head. All right, fall in behind the last man.
I don't think you can drop us off, badass.
You're right, but I'll get an A for effort.
He just beats up everyone. But, you know, it is the glory days. You kind of understand why Steven Seagal enters the zeitgeist from this movie.
Yeah.
Because he's quick.
His acting is not very good, but it doesn't matter because he's throwing punches and stuff.
It's muted and he still does. Oh, you ever think about why babies smell so good?
You ever notice how clean babies smell like nothing in the world has ever touched them?
Oh, that line is insane.
Shit. Nothing in the world has ever touched him.
Weird.
Can we talk about the phrasing?
Don't talk about touching babies.
No, none of that. But yeah, before it was like repeated to death, his one character that he's built, you kind of understand why people were like, dude, this guy's sick. It's a classic 80s movie. As far as plot goes, there's such a gigantic cast of characters. that each character really only does like a very small thing in the
his
movie.
wife has no lines until like an hour in.
Like-
she was in a church as it was bombed.
Right.
Steven Seagal talks to her and she doesn't say anything in
Right,
response, which
exactly.
is crazy. Like, not like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm okay. Are you okay? Nothing.
No, but anyway.
That's kind of it. And
yeah.
then he, you know, foils the plot eventually.
And then they have that whole scene of the plot exposition. Just in case you guys didn't get it.
His ex-partner comes in and is like, yeah, so this is the point in the movie where you're trying to foil this plot to kill the senator.
And then Steven Seagal's character is like, yeah, I knew exactly what was going on. You guys had the Colombian cocaine plus the opium money cycling through this one thing so you could kill the senator who was going to out you.
Exactly. The senator wouldn't have liked that, so he was obviously going to foil your plan. So now you, my ex-partner, and everyone else that's involved are going to kill him,
Yeah,
right?
they're
And he's
gonna
like,
go kill him.
yeah,
And he's
I
like,
guess you do know
sure.
what's going on.
Yeah, it's just like the plot is kind of all over the place. There
Yeah.
are too many characters, but the soundtrack is great. I
Yep.
love the kind of like VHS stain on the
Yeah,
movie.
the action's fun.
But hey, he did it because nobody's above the law. How do we
Stars,
think
yeah.
stars-wise? I think for our 5-star rating, kind of IMDb style, I would say as far as a movie goes, 3 stars. It was an 80s action movie and it lived its truth, I think.
I would give it 2.5 stars. Should we do like guilty pleasure?
Guilty pleasure out of 5. Actually, star rating, I'm gonna go 2.5 with
Okay.
you.
Uh-huh.
I think guilty pleasure gets 3.5.
Yeah, I would give it 3.
Yeah, I like that. It was a shit movie, but it was a good Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah.
And I also really liked how we could see the progenitor of the run, the first run.
Yeah, that's important
it
to
was
mention.
there.
The start of the run
Yeah.
meme. His first movie, his first running scene, he
in
looks
the movie.
ridiculous.
He looks crazy. I'll do 2.5 base,
3.
3
Okay. Guilty pleasure.
3 guilty pleasure with
Okay.
you. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's pretty solid. That was 1988, so it is only downhill from here. Under Siege is next.
Yep.
1992.
We'll see you
you in
guys
the next
after
one.
Under Siege.
Us. Okay, it is 0327 hours plus 12, I think, is how military time works. So it's 327.
1527.
I don't count that high. So we just finished Under Siege. It is, I think, my rating system for the first movie, now that I see what is possible, should be changed. Not the system itself, but I need to rectify some
Your
options,
score.
right? Because
Yeah.
I had fun with the first movie, but I had fun with this
Yeah.
movie. Steven Seagal plays a cook.
Yeah, not the fun drug cook like Walter White, like a real cook on a Navy ship.
The whole first act is literally just them planning a surprise party for the captain of the ship. They're bringing in, you know, a band, man, and Tommy Lee Jones joins the scene.
And Gary Busey's
is
on,
is
yeah.
in it. And I think for me, that's what made this movie way better because the supporting cast was actually good. So essentially, they're on a soon-to-be decommissioned naval battleship with nuclear arms on it. They essentially get hijacked by Tommy Lee Jones and his gang of goons who were posing as musicians.
Yes.
So they take over this ship and they just try to offload these nuclear warheads to fucking make money, I guess, start the Viva la Revolution.
Gary Busey's one of the captains on the ship, but he is psychologically not fully there.
No.
He's on the terrorist team. Basically, the movie follows Steven Seagal is just a cook, but really he's ex-Navy SEAL who got in trouble for punching a superior officer
Yeah.
because he made a mistake.
So he can only be the cook.
It's sort of Die Hard, except
Yeah.
Steven Seagal is a cook.
And he makes sure you know he is a cook.
He says it pretty often.
So who are you? Are you like some special forces guy or something?
I'm just a cook.
A cook?
Just a lowly cook.
There's also Miss September, some like Playboy model who's supposed to be there for the birthday that's kind of like following Steven Seagal the whole time because she was supposed to surprise the captain at his birthday or whatever, jump out of the cake.
And then they just fall in love and she doesn't do a single thing.
There's zero chemistry between them,
Right.
yet they make out in the last scene.
How can you not fall in love with Steven Seagal?
Very true.
As far as Seagalness, he's spry. He's there. You know, he's doing his own stunts. You kind of see him age a little bit, but he's still, you know, America's action hero.
I liked the action, less goofy running, which was a downside.
Way higher budget. It was clearly a blockbuster. Lots of explosions.
It was a lot of fun. I think I liked it more than Above the Law.
Yeah, me too, by a long shot.
It's not amazing. There's some stuff that doesn't really work. So at first, Gary Busey at the parties is dressing in drag.
Yeah, he's in full drag top
which
to
is
bottom.
honestly kind of great for a movie in the 90s.
I love it.
But then they kind of allude to like how he's mentally disturbed. And I feel like they're sort of like,
only a person who is mentally disturbed could possibly dress in drag.
yeah, there's this scene where he's like, do I look mentally disturbed in drag? And it's supposed to be like a gag.
I recommend that he be given a psychological evaluation before taking over his next assignment. God. Do I look like I need a psychological evaluation?
You were
On the
almost
nose.
there, and then it kind of went the wrong way a little. But overall, it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
What are you thinking?
IMDb rating, I would say for this, I would say 3.
Yeah, that's what I would put too. I think 3 stars. Again, I kind of liked the soundtrack.
Right.
I thought it was
fun.
And the action was dumb and fun.
Yeah.
Like the plot was at least easy to follow.
Right, and
before.
Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones
were great.
were
They
an
were great.
incredible like bad guy duo.
Yeah, they were good.
I loved them in that.
So I did like that. Steven Seagal was probably the worst actor out
in the
of
supporting cast.
Yeah,
definitely.
But I still think it was fun overall.
Okay,
So self-indulgence, I'd probably put a 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say 4. I liked it.
It's just goofy and
It's
funny.
very goofy. I need that in these movies
Yeah.
because if you take yourself too seriously, which I think Steven Seagal is.
The movie is goofy and everyone knows that except Steven Seagal. I think Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones are like overacting and it's fun.
Right.
And then Steven Seagal's still muted and weird.
You really see the disparity between the acting chops of all 3 of those
Exactly,
actors, and
yeah.
it does not look good. I would say, 3 for an IMDb score,
Yeah, 4
for self-indulgence, because
Yeah.
I had fun.
I did have fun. It's a poor man's Die Hard.
Poor man's Die Hard.
Yeah.
Walmart brand Die Hard.
Yes.
And you know what we do for that? We run it back, baby, because
We're
we're
doing it
going
again.
Under Siege 2 Dark Territory.
We're doing another one.
I'm sad that Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey cannot come out because
they're
they
both
both died
dead.
in horrifying ways. We'll show it now.
Keep the faith, Stranix.
Let's get this started.
Let's get
We'll
going.
see you after number 3.
It's 5:22 p.m. We just finished Under Siege 2 Dark Territory. So this movie, Casey Ryback, character from the first Under Siege.
Oh my God, that's Casey Ryback.
Jesus Christ, that's Jason Bourne.
The plot is it's after the first one. His brother passes away, so he's taking a train with his niece from Denver to California to go visit his grave or the funeral.
Something? I don't fucking know. Loose plot. They go on a train for no reason.
I think the loose reason behind it is
They needed a big hunk of metal to put them on.
his brother died in a plane crash,
Right.
they say.
Oh,
So I guess maybe it's like...
that is the loosest thread to hold the
Yes.
whole plot
So
together.
they go on a train. The train is hijacked by terrorists that are using, I shit you not, a earthquake laser gun.
It really is Dr. Evil. It's an earthquake laser beam that can shoot planes down.
Earthquake in midair.
Steven Seagal, very same shit. He takes over the train and saves the hostages, stops the laser gun from destroying the Pentagon, and then they visit his brother's grave.
Great.
And it's fucking horrible.
It's rough. There's so many funny parts about this movie.
The opening scene, they're showing like the capability of the laser to zoom in, and the guy in the Situation Room zooms in on a beach while a naked woman is tanning, and he's like, ooh, she's about to turn over.
Oh, what do we got here?
Jim, clean it up.
Oh my God, she's turning over.
Jim.
Oh, holy guacamole. damn thing works.
It's so fucking bizarre.
It's so weird.
My favorite line in this movie is Steven Seagal like breaks into a bathroom. There's a woman like doing her lipstick, and there's a guard outside like who took her to the bathroom, and he's like, "Don't scream, I need your help." They open the door, and she like pulls down her shirt slightly and distracts the guard, and then Seagal like beats him up and kills him, and he's like, huh, tits to die for, huh?
Come out now, run.
I broke my bra.
It's to die for.
I've noticed as we've watched each movie, Seagal looks worse and worse.
And he moves less and less.
I've also noticed that he's way less expressive now.
Right.
Like he's driving a pickup through a field, bouncing everywhere,
around, and he's
bails out, jumps on a moving train,
and his face
is
change.
stern
It's
the entire
same
time.
thing. Even at the end, when there's the cacophony of explosions from the fucking oil tanker, it's two trains running into each other. And Mr. Steven, is just doing his run down the fucking train.
Just poorly green screen behind him. It's the greatest thing ever.
That's lazy. Also, one really fun little detail that I noticed when they're like breaking into a fucking military base to steal helicopters to go take over the train.
Oh, yeah.
They punch in the code for the military thing, and it's just 69 pound.
Yes, that's our boy.
Yeah,
okay.
so how do we feel?
IMDb,
We are on the downslope.
1.5.
I agree with you. 1.5. The half star is because
Tits to die for is my redeeming quality.
that's why we have the self-indulgence.
Oh, yeah. No, actually, yeah, maybe it is like a 1.
IMDb-wise, that's a 1.
Okay, 1.
Actually will give you that half star because it's watchable to a very close margin,
Yeah.
you know? 1.5, I agree.
1.5? Okay.
Self-indulgence-wise,
3.
3.5 for the earthquake in the air.
Yeah, no, 3.5 because it's more fun than Above the Law.
Yeah, I do 3.5 because it is under the first movie for me. So IMDb, 1.5. Self-indulgence, 3.5. Okay, I like that.
That's
okay,
it.
so that's Under Siege 2. It's just called Dark Territory because there's no fucking cell service in the mountains, which is okay. And we're moving on to Half Past Dead. We'll see how it goes. And again, for you, it's gonna get really bad really fast. This is the level we're already at.
We recorded most of this and our camera died midway through. So if we seem even more frustrated, that is mostly why.
I want to leave Half Past Dead, half past the fuck out of my life.
Yeah, it is 7:35.
Yeah, it was probably like 7:20 when we started.
This movie is dog shit, dude.
It's so bad. I want to be 2 halves of Dead.
Yes.
After
both
this,
halves.
we are in the fucking weeds, ladies and gents. It is getting bad. He's getting old, he's getting larger, and he's getting very not mobile.
All the fights are montages, really quick cuts.
Cuts of legs popping out into the frame that belong to another person. It is fucking full pass dog shit. It is really, 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 really bad. It is a plot mess. Steven Seagal plays essentially like a carjacker that is buddied up with fucking Ja Rule, which is an insane pull. I did not know Ja Rule was
his
in that movie.
future's looking very bright. I'm excited to see where his career goes.
So Ja Rule's in this. They both are essentially carjackers for this big bad. They do a bad deal. The FBI rolls up on them. Ensue gunfight. Steven Seagal gets fucking exploded to death.
It's a half past dead.
For 22 minutes, he was dead. Both Ja Rule and Steven Seagal get sent to fucking Alcatraz, new Alcatraz, because everybody knows it was closed in the 60s, but they reopened it and made it 2002 futuristic, which is fucking Spy Kids.
Yes,
it's
Spy
bad.
Kids,
It's
metal
boring.
detectors. It looks terrible.
It's pretty rough. So they're in new Alcatraz.
Steven Seagal is wearing a do-rag the entire time. Looking good, Steven.
They do this like streetification of Steven Seagal that is really out of pocket.
Yeah.
It's rough,
It's
man.
really weird.
Ja Rule tries to tell him how to talk street.
Read my lips. Aight.
Alright.
How's that? You see what I'm doing that right there? Aight. You see what I'm getting that in there?
I think that's tough for me.
They put him in a do-rag and make him walk like this. Dude, it is very telling that y'all had to try this hard.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
To like make him passable as anyone who has been on the street.
Yeah.
Like, you know?
There's also my favorite scene, Steven Seagal and Ja Rule drive into the warehouse where they're like gonna get busted eventually. And Steven Seagal's like doing donuts in the garage and Ja Rule's like, stop, don't do that. And he flies out of the passenger seat.
I'm gonna kick your ass one day.
You're gonna pay for that.
You little rascal.
That was mean.
That was not
Don't
okay.
do that.
Hey, you're not supposed to do that to your friends. So they're at Alcatraz. They essentially have like a death row inmate in there that is going to be their first executed death row inmate of new Alcatraz, right? He essentially hijacked a train to steal $200 million worth of gold U.S. trading brick tender. The deal went bad and like 5 people died, and that is on him. So he's on death row, and he sees Steven Seagal while he's walking, and he's like, oh, fucking that guy. I want to hang out with him.
He seems so cool with his do-rag on.
He hits up the warden. He's like, hey, I want to see this guy for my last hour on the planet. Steven Seagal walks up, and he's like, what is it like on the other side? And then Steven Seagal literally doesn't tell him. The moment passes, and he's like, when I get over there, do you think God will forgive me?
For killing those people and stealing all that money?
It was Steven Seagal's like, I think you did a bad thing, and I think you're paying the price with your life. But I think God will forgive you.
I think you must have done something very bad. You're gonna pay for it with your life. But I think God will forgive you.
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, fuck those 5 people and their families and the people they love.
Oh. It's important to note, too, that death row inmate has not told anyone the location of the gold.
Right.
So that's a big point,
it's
too.
a huge
There's
point.
$200 million worth of gold hidden
Just
somewhere.
out there.
He's the only one that knows where it is.
So he won't tell the government. He's decided he won't tell anybody, but there's this one government worker that we see in a scene at the beginning of the movie that decides to take everything into his own hands.
Yes.
And he puts together a crack team of fucking mercenaries.
That
and
all
he
look like they're in the Matrix.
Exactly. They're in their leather jackets doing the whole...
Slow-mo scenes that make no sense, walking down hallways. It's awesome.
Love that. They essentially break into Alcatraz to take the death row inmate that hasn't told anyone where the money is. All of that ensues, and there is a Supreme Court justice that comes to Alcatraz to like watch the dude get murdered because she handed him down the sentence, and she just becomes collateral for the fucking like big bad mercenary guys. Apparently, Steven Seagal was in the FBI the whole time. Like Ja Rule's asking him like, what's up with you? Why are you
what's
doing
wrong?
this? There were 2 separate scenes like that I love that I'll talk about. The first is when Ja Rule to Steven Seagal is like,
why are you saving the Supreme Court justice?
Yeah, bro. And he's like, cause I'm an FBI agent, man. They killed my fucking wife. Ja Rule's like, who killed your wife, Steven Seagal? He didn't say that, but I wanted to say that. And he's like, that big bad drug dealer I want to kill.
And that's it.
We've never seen him. We don't know what like he is capable of, what he's doing. And Ja Rule's like, oh man, that sucks. And then the second scene that they're like asking why a character is doing what they're doing, it's the Supreme Court justice lady and the like
main
big
villain.
bad. She's like, why? What do you want? What are you doing? What makes you tick? He goes on this crazy long tirade, essentially verbally being like, you piece of shit, what have you done? You have all these jobs and stuff, but you don't have a husband.
You're not a mom, so who's the real psycho evil villain now?
You're not a mom, so you're worthless.
Why have you never been married?
No one ever asked me.
Too busy burning bras, huh? Equal pay, pro-choice, fighting the cause, right? And all that time, you forgot about love, didn't you? Then your biological clock stopped ticking. You ain't got nothing.
I'm a Supreme Court justice.
Yeah, but how fun would it be to be a mom, though?
Then at the end of it, he's like, oh, that's so sad. There was so many tears going, I just want it because I want money.
And also, dude, the guy on death row tries to high road the Supreme Court justice.
Right.
Like, you're killing me. Like, why would you do this? Blah, blah, blah.
This is your job.
Dude, you killed 5 people. You're terrible for doing your job and rightfully putting me to death.
So, the whole movie goes by, people shoot at each other, All of the craziness happens. They like get in a helicopter off of the island, and they realize, you know, after the FBI raided Alcatraz and that we think the good guys win, the big bad is off with the Supreme Court justice. He made a bait and switch with just some random lady. So they both go up in helicopters. They just dump her out of the fucking helicopter. And then Steven Seagal puts on these cool guy glasses and just fucking boop.
Say goodbye! Bang! Hit the rock! Hit the same! Bang! Hit the rock!
And the helicopter, for some reason, is like 30,000 feet in the air.
It is way too high.
It doesn't make any sense. And then the death row inmate himself on the big bad helicopter with grenades, and they all die.
They had eyes on him. Where did he get the bomb?
Oh, there's
dude?
a grenade-shaped lump in your chest.
So Steven Seagal grabs the fucking lady out of the air and then
finds the gold and frees Ja Rule. So this movie is a fat pile of shit.
Dog shit.
I'm giving this shit a 1 on the IMDb scale.
Absolutely.
1, and fucking self-indulgence 0.
Yeah.
Fuck this movie.
No, I totally agree with that.
I don't like it at all.
1 for IMDb, 0 for self-indulgence because it is boring.
I just want to see Ja Rule get flung out of cars now. It's just bad.
It's not fun bad. It's just bad.
Don't watch this movie ever. Hello. It is...
No. That's too sunny. That is too sunny for what we just fucking endured. There have been a lot of things going through my head when we did the Nick Cage one, when we did the Alien one. This is the worst one we've ever
Guys, before we start filming these, we're like, oh, who wants to like surmise what happened? Wyatt did the last one, so I was thinking going in, like, I'll do it. I don't know what to say.
There's no plot synopsis.
There is no plot. There's no plot.
I didn't think they could take the protagonist out of a movie more than what we just watched. He sat in a chair.
The entire movie.
That's not an exaggeration. We're pretty colorful with our language a lot of the time. That's not an exaggeration.
It's 9/21. This is 2016. He looks terrible.
The jump from Half Past Dead in 2002 to 14 years later, it's a ton. They had one action sequence with him that wasn't him on a roof. It's him carrying up a person up the stairs. They had to use a stunt double for that. There's no way he can walk up the stairs normal.
He pulls a body at one point to get to safety, and it's so clear that there's no way that's a real body or has any weight in it, because he just like drags the body so easily.
It's a theme, the movements of Mr. Steven. It's like he didn't know how to move his hands or move his body or hold a gun.
He was holding guns. Weird. And all the extras also don't know how to hold weapons
the extras,
at all.
the supporting cast were a lot of times like a redeeming quality of the movies that we had watched. This made it actively worse.
Yeah, the only person that I recognized in this movie was the waitress from How I Met Your Mother is in this.
Yeah, and who I recognized was the dude from The Valley. He's in it. Synopsis. Let's try
if there
it.
is
Try
one.
it, Nick.
Steven Seagal's a sniper. Opening scene, they're shooting people in this remote village in Obama Dad, which is not a real place. They make up every location in this movie.
Let's pause that for a second. Obama Dad.
Gunfight. Steven Seagal's covering them with sniper fire. He sits down the entire time and shoots off screen. There's no recoil on his gun. It is very distracting. Costumes are cheap.
They're so bad. Everybody is just generic terrorist costume.
They find a senator, but I might as well not even mention that. He never really comes up after this.
I wish I could say the beginning of the first or second act.
There are
no catalytic events that happen in this movie.
No. One guy gets shot, Ricochet blinds him. He has a rabbit's foot that he gives to a character later on as a lucky charm.
Doesn't mean anything.
Why would you give a lucky charm to someone when you just got blinded and everyone else
Clearly
seemed to have made it out?
It didn't work very well.
It did not work. Steven Seagal stays behind to save the reality TV guy. They post up in an apartment that they don't. Yes, they don't leave. They do not leave the apartment until they get rescued.
Help me! Help me!
The thing is, like, Steven Seagal is on the fucking poster. He is a drawing point for this movie.
Yes.
And so they have to give him screen time.
He sits in the same fucking chair.
In the same position.
Barely holding a gun.
Barely holding onto his body.
With the reality TV show guy, like, sitting there. I think he's paralyzed.
Probably we're gonna have to just wait it out.
Okay. They got separated from the group after the firefight, but the movie isn't even about getting them back.
No.
They
So
just
the movie
happen into
then
that
goes
happening.
to the rest of the squad. The waitress from How I Met Your Mother is a photographer. She sneaks into the operation that the rest of the group goes on to get a car working
In a different
with one
place.
guy in it that's broken down on the road. They spend 90% of the movie talking near the broken car.
They find a
the
woman,
a woman and her baby, and she is the daughter-in-law and then the grandson of the lead terrorist guy.
The journalist lady. I know a lot of like war movies bring a journalist in to shed the light on the horrors of war, the nuanced politics behind going into a place that you aren't familiar with and like trying to control it.
Yeah.
In this movie, she's a fucking psychopath.
And runs into gunfire to take pictures of people.
She walks up to the woman who, by the way, it is canonized that she has been like whipped
and tortured.
By whoever she escaped from.
Yeah.
This is the first time she's seeing her. She just walks up to her, shoves a camera in her and her baby's face. And then she says, the most white savior, fucking crazy, reductive line I've ever seen. She's like,
Just a camera.
this is a camera.
Camera. That, you're good.
She says, it won't hurt you.
We won't hurt you.
She gives her a granola bar, and Nick and I were making a joke like, granola bar. This is a granola bar.
So,
rapper. Rapper. You can't eat that part. It's just
it's awful.
crazy.
So terrorist attacks, see her, stop attacking. They use her and her baby to go to the village Steven Seagal's at.
To inform Colonel Jackson that I elected to take a slight detour and reunite this young lady and her baby, your family.
Because like they're like, oh, the terrorists saw her and stopped shooting at us.
So she's our key to go in.
So they bring her to the village that they left. The Taliban apparently were just like, that was their hideout in the broken down town that they were in the first scene. And Steven Seagal and the reality TV star have just been hanging out there.
Yeah.
They don't know that he's still there.
They use the reporter in disguise as the daughter-in-law to strap a grenade to that lead terrorist guy.
Yeah, let's walk through how this is possible to happen, because I don't think the writers thought about that. They would have had to strip that woman of her clothes, strip the rag off of the baby to put it around a bomb that is just like a bunch of grenades duct taped together onto a carabiner. The white journalist lady puts her fucking hijab on, walks up to the leader of the Taliban. Just so we're clear on this.
Yeah, just to make sure you guys
Just
are
so you guys
following
know,
what we're
the
saying.
leader of the Taliban doesn't recognize that there's a white lady under that hijab. You can see like an eighth of her face.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, my daughter. And then she's like, she just opens up the fucking baby swaddle
And it's a
thing,
bomb
and it's
and
just
hooks
a
it on
bunch
her.
of grenades. It's not, I wouldn't even call it a bomb.
It's a grenade.
And then all of the Taliban behind
Run
him
away.
just run away when
And
they
then
could have
all
just fucking gunned her down.
They don't have a hostage
They
anymore.
don't have the hostage anymore.
Kill
They
all
don't
of
give a
them.
shit. Kill all of them. She has enough time to knee him in the nuts and say,
Die, motherfucker, or something like that.
Rot in hell, motherfucker.
And then she runs away from the grenades that she just armed. Oh, by the way, they planted a bunch of C4 around the Taliban's camp while they were taking a jerk-off break or something.
Yes, and the detonator doesn't work, so Steven Seagal somehow with a little tiny sight on a gun
from
shoots.
the same rooftop that he's been on the whole movie.
He shoots all the C4 and they explode, and the camera woman
music
takes
comes up.
pictures, very in
just
poor taste of dead
runs
bodies.
up to the Taliban's dead bodies, and she's just and then she turns to the sergeant and she's like,
Start with a big hero smile.
And she takes a picture of everyone. She talks to Steven Seagal for the first time and is like,
Are you really as good as they all say you are?
are you as good as they say you are? And Steven Seagal's like,
every once in a while.
and then roll credits.
Yep.
No, not roll credits. they had enough fucking gumption to jerk themselves off one more time and do a fucking like, here's the cast at the end.
Yeah.
There are chicken wire levels of holes in this fucking movie.
It felt like we didn't watch a movie.
No.
At the end,
it felt like we were watching a paintball match.
Yeah, it was
top to bottom.
So, IMDb star rating negatives, if we can do it.
I'm going to do negatives. 'Cause
Negative.
This is the thing. I was using Humanity Bureau as the benchmark.
This is worse.
I'm
by a
sorry.
lot.
At least Humanity Bureau
Had a
had
plot.
Nicolas Cage in it.
Okay, negative 5. It's the worst. It was horrible.
Guys,
Unwatchable.
I don't look. Again, I've said this. We're very colorful with our language. We're YouTubers. I don't want y'all to miss my sentiment when I say this was the worst movie I have ever
I honestly agree.
seen. I can't
agree.
think
I
of
can't
another
think of
one.
a worse one.
Our worst movies of all time.
Yeah.
We say that in like a loving way.
Yeah.
This is the
I hate
biggest
this.
waste of time anyone on that set, anyone in that movie, or anyone watching it has ever wasted.
God.
That felt
okay.
good to get out.
Negative 5. Self-indulgence,
-5.
negative 5. It's
a
worst.
negative
It's
5,
awful.
negative 5.
It's horrible.
I'm not kidding.
Don't watch this. Don't. And this isn't like a haha. I'm gonna watch it
No,
because
this
it's
is a
don't.
Don't do
Don't.
it.
Next.
I needed to get that out.
Yeah,
I
that
actually
felt good.
kind of feel
that
a
felt
little
good.
better. This
Next,
is nice.
we're doing China Salesman.
I'm so excited.
The Chinese propaganda
From
movie.
our video, I've wanted to watch this.
With Mike Tyson in it. So thank you guys.
No.
No, actually, no.
No, fuck you guys.
All right. We'll see you after China Salesman.
Whatever.
Save me! What's up, guys? It is 11:34 p.m.
And 11:34 p.m. is when we stopped being friends.
We're
not friends. I'm not friends with you guys anymore.
I thought you meant me and you, and you're like, the channel was over.
Yeah, well, that's on the chopping block.
Yeah,
I don't
next.
know what could happen for beyond the law, but that might kill our friendship of 26 years. China Salesman.
Yeah. This wasn't a movie. It was just
wasn't a
propaganda. It was
movie.
just propaganda the
And
entire
like,
time.
dude, I'm disheveled. I'm
Yeah,
shooketh.
me too.
Very heavily from this whole process because I'm just descending deeper and deeper into like the loosest possible meaning of what a movie could be.
Yeah.
This movie was made by 15 separate Chinese production companies. I counted. And only one government wrote the movie. It was the CCP. We were honey-dicked into watching a Steven Seagal movie.
Yep. And he's barely in the fucking movie.
And I'm not talking like, oh, he's barely in the movie
He's
because
sitting in
he's
a
sitting in a
chair.
chair. At least Sniper Special Ops cut consistently back to him sitting in a
the
chair.
Yeah.
But at least we got to be like, oh, that's Steven Seagal. This felt pointless.
Yeah, it was.
In
This was a
group.
waste.
We could have watched a Steven Seagal movie.
Yeah.
Instead, we watched China Salesman. It's my turn to summarize. If I possibly could, this movie was 2 hours long.
Yep.
It opens, we are in Africa. The country of Africa.
They never say where.
No, because of the war going on, telecommunications got brought down, so they need to re-up it. It's a telecommunications movie, guys.
Yeah.
It's all about just Time Warner reps that just
Verizon and
run
AT&T.
around Africa,
Yeah.
and they're all like bidding for essentially like the country of Africa to fucking get better telecommunications. 3 European countries and China all get together. They're just trying to install 3G into Africa.
They're just trying to pitch, of course, the country of Africa.
Because of the war going on.
Yes. I did see when I was looking up for this movie, it's inspired by some true events. So I'm sure there are, apparently.
What true events?
I don't know.
I cannot imagine what happened in that movie that existed in reality.
I think the only thing that probably happened was China won the bid.
Right.
DH
won a bid in Africa for 3G.
But
so essentially, the Chinese guy and his like other girl that works for DH are like trying to win this bid. They bite off more than they can chew, so they like write this code to like install 3G into
Faster.
Africa. It's like 1.5 seconds faster download speed or whatever. The European companies are super crooked. This French guy named Michael hires Mike Tyson is in this movie.
Yes.
And he is in this movie.
Yeah, a lot.
Steven Seagal
is not. Steven Seagal is a bar owner.
On the house, gentlemen.
In Africa.
In Africa.
So
of
it's
course.
illegal.
Well, not everywhere in Africa.
I know,
but
they didn't seem to.
Yeah.
They keep getting they keep arresting people for owning alcohol. That's why the fucking Chinese guy got arrested.
Not alcohol.
It's goat milk. Goat milk. Goat milk.
So Steven Seagal owns a bar somewhere.
Yeah.
The only time he's really in the movie is in that fight
very
scene with
beginning.
Mike Tyson that we showed in our first
Right,
video,
and
the trailer.
it was almost all of the trailer.
Yeah, it was most of
So
the trailer.
we were like, hell yeah, Mike Tyson
and
versus
Steven
Steven Seagal. Yeah.
Then he's gone the whole time.
The entire movie. Steven Seagal and Mike Tyson get into this. That was the whole fucking thing.
Yeah, fight
This
scene.
crazy fight scene where Steven Seagal's going.
Yeah.
He punches
Yeah.
barrels,
Uh-huh.
but Steven Seagal's like using his weight against him.
Yeah,
And
he like smacks his ear real
does.
He's like,
And
and
then
it
he
goes
goes-
like
he goes,
zooms in close.
So that happens, and you think there's going to be this pitting of these two powerhouses
That
against
was
each other.
That was the
That was the last time we saw Steven Seagal for probably an hour and a half.
Yes.
So they go through this whole thing. A civil war breaks out
because they
in the
can't
middle of the
communicate
bidding
with each
war.
other. Yeah.
No, because this is the fucked up part. They have a lot of scenes that are like 15 seconds long.
Yeah, they just
with
say
like
bits of
important
information.
dialogue, horribly ADR.
Dude, the ADR's atrocious.
It is laughable. And Mike Tyson, like, people are
He's
speaking
ADR.
other languages,
Yeah.
and Mike Tyson can't speak his own language.
Yeah. So I give them leeway somewhat. Yeah,
Right.
if it's like someone that is not English speaking English
Right.
and they need to ADR
Right.
a little bit. But yeah, Mike Tyson speaks English and they ADR the shit out of him
Like,
the
from his
entire
first
movie.
line, they couldn't even nail down his first line.
Yeah.
Our people are not extinct. We're now spread all over Africa. For sure, I can recover our nation, but I need your help.
So, civil war breaks out again because
Yeah.
you missed this.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's not your fault. It happened on an email. I had to read it on an email on a computer of another character,
Okay.
right? It says one of their like main leaders, the leader of the South, whatever. They don't say what country it is.
Just the South.
They just say the South. They said the leader of the South went down in a helicopter accident.
Okay.
And that's why everyone in this northern city is now murdering each other.
Okay.
It erupts into civil war. Neighbors are killing neighbors, throwing people off fucking
Yeah, it's
balconies.
insane.
And these telecommunications people are just like, how do we fit into this?
How do we fix
How
this
do we
problem?
Fix this problem?
How does
It's
China
ours to
solve
fix.
this?
Apparently their phone lines go down. So the leader of the South can't phone the leader of the North.
Got it. Okay.
To be like, hey, you didn't do that, right?
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Right? They all have TVs. They're getting radio signals.
Yeah.
I gotta like relax.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's late. It's
It
like
is late,
11:45
and this one was
now.
a really bad one to be very
So
late.
these fucking Time Warner employees
Yeah.
are in the middle of a African civil war.
Yes.
And they're like, okay, we gotta make sure these guys can call each other
Yep.
because that's the only route to peace. Meanwhile, the like French guy is like fucking with the like
The China-
tech
yeah,
the whole
yeah,
time.
yeah,
he's
the
like,
DH
he's
China
like, he's like, we gotta
salesman
fuck
guy.
up DH because we own Africa.
Yeah.
The West. So they essentially have to go on this gigantic journey to fix these cell towers on the border between North
and South.
Africa.
Yeah. But then there's like fucking Mike Tyson in a tank.
Right.
Like, shooting at
He's
people.
running around, shooting the towers down, shooting them.
There's also
The flag
The flag.
The
There's a
flag
scene
scene.
where they're getting shot at and they're like, how do we tell them to stop?
The North Army is now escorting the telecom
Yes,
guys
to the south.
the southern border because
Yes.
the radio tower to connect them is past
down.
the southern
Yes,
border.
yep,
So they go up to the border, and the border is obviously military
Yeah,
grade.
so they're shooting at them and stuff.
The army in the south sees northern army men
Yes.
roll up in a tank, and they start shooting at them, obviously.
The main character, the China salesman, grabs the Chinese flag, takes it to like
It's
the
like the Chinese
Northern
flag.
African
This
general.
is gonna work.
Chinese flag.
Chinese flag?
Yeah.
And he's like, this is gonna work.
This is
like,
gonna work.
Show this.
Just wave this
and
around.
He
Don't
looks
stop
at it
shooting
and he's
at
like,
us.
what? And he gives it back to him. He, out of his own volition, like charges up to like the Humvee that's getting
telecom
shot.
guy.
Yeah, the
The
telecom
nerd.
guy
The
with
nerd.
the flag, shooting everywhere. He takes the flag out. He's trying to use an makeshift to put it up in the air. They're shooting at him. The French lady that was sabotaging him moments before
Right.
throws a
pole,
pole, and he
and it just
ties a
perfectly
makeshift
works.
flag, and then the like this cover gets blown up, and he falls. Jams the flag in the ground. He's holding onto it slow-mo.
Yeah, and
There's
the fucking
smoke everywhere.
clears, and all you see
It's the Chinese flag.
that our flag was still there.
And immediately, the Southern African,
they're like, oh,
they just stop. They're like, oh, it's China.
Fuck,
They're
it's
the best.
China
We
here.
can't shoot at
in
them.
Northern African military garb and military equipment, but they have a Chinese flag. Obviously, they're Chinese.
Yes, and
these like
us
7 black dudes, 1 white lady, and a Chinese guy. They're all Chinese.
Yeah, all of them.
They roll into the pickup that was with them. They're like, leave the Humvees behind. Take your hats off. They'll know.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Slowly.
Come on!
What in fuck's name are you doing?
And they go through the border,
and they're
then
shooting
one shoots in the
bullets
air, and then they're like, hi,
jump
and then
them.
one says like, ni hao.
China! Ni hao! Ni hao! Ni hao!
Hello!
And then the Chinese guy's like, oh, hi, like waving.
Yeah, and then all of the other African dudes are like, ni hao, ni hao.
Yeah,
Oh, China, yeah, fuck yeah, China.
China,
yeah,
China's the
Woo!
best. That's like actually what they do.
Also, one of my favorite scenes and the like demise of Mike Tyson at the final cell tower that they have to fix. Mike Tyson blows it up. Our China salesman
I
falls
forgot about
all
that.
the way down off of a fucking off
the
of a
top
tower,
of a cell tower.
and he's just fine.
He brushes it off.
Right.
He fell like
And
hundreds
then
of feet.
Superman comes in, aka one singular armed with missiles UN helicopter.
I broke my back.
The UN guy lands and he's like, we're UN peacekeepers. We can't get involved in the war. But they just bombed
Mike
a
Tyson.
random fucking tank.
Yeah, we can't do anything
How?
though. That wasn't us.
We can't. Hey, no.
Little whoopsie on our part
Sorry.
there.
So they fix the war.
And you
then,
think it's over.
And then it's not. There's an hour left. Because apparently the bad European company is like opening a lawsuit against like fucking the Chinese company. They're like, oh fuck. But like if they release the source code, then the world will have it. And then it's free internet for everybody. And it is so fucking rich coming from the CCP. They get on their soapbox sometimes, dude. This guy, like, at the end, he's, like, giving the source code to the bad guy, European guy. He's like, you motherfuckers, you guys just rolled into Africa and you think it's yours.
You're not welcome here, China salesman.
Is slave trade part of your civilization? And spreading war and hunger part of your democracy? Genghis fleet from China reached the shores of Africa hundreds of years ago. They only left friendship and peace. They did not take an inch of land or a single person as a slave.
You like took slaves.
Oh, yeah.
He pointed
Yeah.
the slave finger, and I'm like, what you guys are doing to the fucking Uyghurs, and you're talking like that? That's one.
Yeah.
2, at the end, they are doing that whole internal monologue, like writing a note, a manifesto, if you will,
Yep.
along with the release of the source code to give the technology to the world
Yep.
and whatever. They say,
移动通讯的命脉在于网络安全。担心被窃听和被监控，是所有国家的顾虑所在。DH 决定把自己的3G 源代码向你们公开，我们不留后门，也不愿意监控任何人。历史将会证明，DH 是清白的。
and it's like, just give us your info. Come on,
Yeah,
guys.
we're not spying on you.
They talk about how, like, you know, the ISPs have all of the source code and everybody's information. Nobody wants to be spied on. And it's like, dude, I stopped for fucking 8 hours in the Beijing airport and I had to scan my passport to get an internet code. That was in fucking like 2019. This movie came out in 2017.
Yeah, no, it's...
Like, it's rich.
A bunch of bullshit happens. It ends with...
us not seeing Steven Seagal again.
Yes, Steven Seagal's gone.
Sorry,
he's
gone.
not in the movie. DH, the Chinese company, wins the bid. The main character gets arrested at the end, and Mike Tyson kills the evil Western Michael guy.
You get nothing!
And then himself.
And then himself.
Watch him as he goes.
The back is broken.
And then the main character feels really horrible for Mike Tyson, but it's like, dude, that guy's killed so many people. He caused so much death, and he's
just
like,
let
my friend.
The last time we see Steven Seagal, he kind of comes back in the third act a
he
little bit
says,
to
like 2 sentences.
help the guy for
Yeah.
some reason. The last scene we see him in, he's just hanging out with like the Chinese like telecom people, and he's like,
Hey, why don't you guys speak English?
hey, why don't you guys speak English?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that shit. Yeah, he
Why
says,
don't you guys speak English?
Yeah, he said, speak English.
They're not even talking to him.
Yeah, he's just like, excuse me. Also, they had Steven Seagal's character ride a fucking motorcycle all the time, and he can't, I guess, because they fucking CGI'd his dumb fat head in the fucking visor, so you can see it. It looks like a fisheye lens. It's so fucking weird.
Okay, I
Negative
sweat it all out.
20, negative
Dude.
50. Fuck this movie, dude.
I would rather watch Sniper Special Ops because at least they didn't try for a story.
Yeah, no,
I also
this-
don't want to feel like I'm being fucking marketed to.
Yeah.
God.
I think we got to give this double as bad.
No,
Negative 10.
negative 10.
Negative 10. Negative 10. Yep.
You're done. You guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking find you. Okay,
right.
let's maybe hope
Last
that
movie.
Beyond the
Last
Law. This
movie.
is it. We are now full circle. We started with Above the
We're
Law.
ending with Beyond the Law in 2019.
Yeah, 30 years later.
So let's see
direct
how
30
Beyond
years.
the Law he goes this time.
Let's see how Beyond the Law I'm willing to go to find you people for putting us through this. Sorry, guys. Did I say anything mean to you guys while I was... Well, I just was seeing red.
Let's give it up. Hey. Here we are. We did it. We finished our last movie. It is
Okay.
1:38 in the morning.
Look at that.
We finished Beyond the Law. It is not really in any way a successor to Above the Law. Steven Seagal's the villain in this one.
Right.
Or one of the villains.
We got a couple punches thrown at the end,
Mm-hmm.
but he hasn't moved probably more than 30 feet in like the last 3 movies.
Yeah, he looks worse and worse, and
It's
that
bad.
trend continues. He doesn't look good in this movie. He
At
aged
least Cage
gracefully.
I wouldn't
Sick.
describe it gracefully. Okay,
he
honestly,
aged.
I will give it to you that he eventually aged gracefully.
But there was a middle period.
But he got up.
Yeah.
Steven Seagal, I don't think he's ever gone from sitting to standing in the
a
last
movie.
20
Yeah,
years.
it always cuts to him already up.
And that's also why we're now drinking, so cheers to that.
Cheers.
Because he literally only smokes cigars and drinks whiskey in the last
That's
3
all he
movies.
does in
this
movies now.
specific movie,
It's
it
every scene.
actually
He has a
was just
full
him sitting
cigar.
down and huffing a stogie.
Plot summary. It starts off, we open on a heist.
Yeah.
It goes, the kid who's the getaway driver, he gets killed because he doesn't have the money.
Right.
It's pretty brutal. The kid's actually a pretty
It's
good actor.
really brutal.
So after this, cuts to the kid's father. He's a retired cop who's like
He's
sick.
a bayou boy
He's
now.
he lives
He's
in the
living in the
country.
country.
He gets word that his son is dead. They're estranged after their mom
But he's
passed.
still really sad about it.
Yeah.
It's interesting to watch movies that just have absolutely zero character behind any of
Yeah.
the people that are doing the stuff.
Uh-huh.
And then in the first scene, really, or the second scene, actually establish a genuine motive for a protagonist.
Yeah. It's
It
nice.
was
It's
it
very
was a
refreshing.
drop of water.
Our
Oh.
bar is extremely low.
Yeah, that was nice.
The dad is seeking revenge for whoever killed his son, and he's going out trying to find the gangsters who did it. DMX is a corrupt cop who
Love
is
that.
the dad's friend. So the dad is tracking down the killers of his son, kind of coming out of retirement, being like a crooked cop or whatever.
Yeah.
He beats people up for information. He goes to an underground casino and finds a woman that was involved with his son. She gives him some information, but withholds
But
that
not all of
basically
it.
She stole all the money, which caused him to die, but she's trying to escape a bad situation, so he ends up kind of forgiving her. Steven Seagal, he is not the main character in this movie. He's the mob boss of the gangsters, and he's the dad of the main shitty gangster.
The shitty gangster that killed the kid. Do you see the web we're spinning here now?
Yeah, there's some friction between them. The kid ends up trying to essentially take over the business. Dad finds out, turns on him, casts him out, and that kind of leads to the dad to find him and kill him and stuff. So
yeah,
that's basically it. The dad eventually comes to a showdown with Steven Seagal after killing Steven Seagal's son. Steven Seagal's sitting, smoking a cigar and drinking, and then all of a sudden he stands up and uses his Aikido moves to disarm the dad and somehow evades getting shot. Steven Seagal kills the dad, but the dad calls 911 during their encounter, and basically Steven Seagal in that moment admits that like he killed him. So then Steven Seagal goes to jail. Weirdest ending scene ever though. The dad forgives the woman who was like involved with her son for like stealing the money because she's in a bad situation.
Right.
The movie ends with like an assassin killing the woman before she gets to escape her situation, and it just cuts to black and the movie's over.
It's also like a side character. She's literally the supplier that the mob family tried to broker a deal with. I'm like, how does she know this woman is even involved?
Choice. But that's the movie.
I think that we have been starved for so long that this actually felt way better to watch given the last 3 nightmares we put ourselves through. Like,
I think
my God.
The kid actor who dies is a good actor. I think the main character is like decent.
I mean, Walmart brand Ben Affleck.
Yes.
Yeah. Steven, it doesn't look good. This is the most recent movie that he was in. This is now 30 years after his first movie, and he looks like a peep that got put in the microwave. And also just frail.
You see it in the way he fights later on.
He just, there's a reason why he does the
he does
this. It's literally the least amount of muscle tension.
It's definitely not good. I would say, I think, to close this off, IMDb, I would give it a 2. I think it's above Half Past Dead.
I think 2 is solid. Vibe-wise, didn't have one. Sorry. At least Above the Law was like 80s.
See, that's why
soundtrack, the cool cars.
Yeah.
And he was skinny.
Yeah, but that he was skinny. That's a point. No, I would say Beyond the Law 2, and I think Self-Indulgence for me though is also a 2 because I don't think it was fun. It was fine.
Yeah,
I had a better time with Above the Law and with Under Siege. So I think it's a 2 too.
You're right.
Me.
It's insane that our highest score is a 4 for self-indulgence,
which just means
our lowest score is a -10 out of 5. It's a 2 and a 2 for me.
Okay.
I can agree with that.
I'm down with that.
Just one more oots for the end of that movie?
Sure, absolutely.
Okay. Wow, the liquor really brought the rage out in me, dude.
What a journey, man. Holy shit,
I want to thank the Academy.
Yeah, of course.
The Streamies for having us.
We started streaming a month ago.
I'd like to thank Amazon for sending us these costumes.
That's true. Thank you,
and
Amazon.
I would like to condemn Steven Seagal.
I would like to say, Steven Seagal, in the first video, we already established you're like not a great guy. So I think it's good to establish that you're also just not a good actor either.
I will say, I do think this humanized him for me. I was having a hard time putting myself in the shoes of people who did kind of put him into the fucking culture. You know? I was like, why is this dude even a part of the conversation? But Above the Law, you kind of see him get into it, and you see the weird hands and the runs.
Yeah, you see the run,
and you're like,
and you're
dude,
locked in.
I saw what it was supposed to be. And how quickly
it devolved.
Deteriorated. You know how everything has a curve. It started here, and then it had a quick blip, and then a very steep decline.
Yeah, so I'd say it didn't hit me in Above the Law. It hit me in Under Siege, because that was like a classic action movie.
He's the cook. Hey, yeah.
I don't think any of this absolves Steven Seagal for the bad shit that he's done.
Being hard to work with.
And
like,
bad and essay allegations, and being buddy-buddy with Putin is not good.
Yeah, it's all weird.
I hope you guys enjoyed this. This one was hard.
It was hard because the Nick Cage and the Alien, like,
there's ups and downs.
there are ups and downs.
This is all downs.
This is all.
We
this
started
is one
high
blip
and went up, and then
it's just a
it sucked
full
ass.
blown. It's not a roller coaster. It's one of those things that go up and then only shoots down.
Yeah. Those elevator
Whereas
things that
Alien
drop.
was a roller coaster. It had really good movies and really bad movies.
Yeah.
This started at a sick, and then went to God.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Yep.
Really fast.
Yeah.
And with Nick Cage, we love him, so it's kind of a different attachment.
This is a different experience for sure.
Exactly. But I'm happy we got to jump
me
in
too.
to someone who we haven't really understood before.
Yeah. So if you're still here, thank you. I'm sure this video is going to be very long. If you liked it, please consider liking and subscribing. We shout out our new subs at the end of every video, so here they are. We stream Mondays too, so if you like gaming, if you want to come in and say hi, we stream every Monday at 8 p.m. EST, come check it out. But we did it. We fucking did it. All right, cheers.
One more.
Yeah, one more.
You know, let's drink the whole fucking bottle, dude.
We got it.
We gotta get the fuck out.
All right.
One more for the camera.
One more.
Just
Final.
deep from your gut, okay?
And we're out.
I just felt all of my chi leaving my...
No more shitty glasses. Thank you, guys.
Can the next one be just like a little higher of a bar for an actor?
No.
Okay. No.